User entered your channel.
You have no right to those.
Hello, and welcome to FQ Racing League, where this weekend we are in Spa, and we are in Spa for both of our races. Don't mind the starting soon screen popping up. I again have to adjust audio, which I never do before the stream, which is off. I'm so happy right now. But we are in Spa for this weekend, and for both races we are doing Spa Francorchamps or Belgium or whatever you want to call it, but on F123 first, because that's how we do things. First F123, then F124. Let me know in the chat if everything's okay with the stream, and please talk to me in chat again, because it is. I am once again alone in the commentary box, because we do not have enough people to do commentary. Yay! Anyway, I'll go get myself a drink, and we are about to get started here in Belgium. It'll just be a minute. Alright, I'm back with my drink. Here we go. So 15 people in the lobby today. Decent amount of numbers for a year-old game. Okay, we are getting underway here. People are readying up. So, Mew is not on comms for F123 because Mew is racing in F1. Not on comms on F123 because wait, is he not racing on F123? Why is he not racing on F123? Oh, did he? Could he not do it? Could he? Was there a reason for this? Oh, was it? Are his pedals fucked? Ooh. Okay. That's unfortunate. Okay. Then I don't know why Mew's not doing comms. Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to do comms either. I'll just like, if I was not allowed to race for whatever reason, I wouldn't be the happiest to do comms on that race either. But as we get another way, only 2 out of our 4 championship contenders are running in this race. It's going to be Joe and Jerome Hudson, the 2 people to watch out for here today. And Joe had a pretty dominant performance out in China last week. He'll be hoping to replicate that, and Jerome Hudson will be hoping to replicate what he managed to do in Abu Dhabi. We have 2 newcomers. This weekend we have Kiwi and Squarehead. Both of those guys making their debuts here in FQ Racing League. And always good to have some more people in, especially for the F123 division, because people are obviously more playing the new game now. The crossover point has basically happened already, so it's going to be exciting to get going here, as Easy 10, the last one not to load in, and making us all wait. And I know you're listening to the stream, so I'm going to cook you right here publicly. People tell me it's, ooh, that's rain. I'm not a scientist, but that looks like rain to me. As full wet, even. So this is going to be interesting. A full wet qualifying around Spa. It's going to be a lot like 2021 then, where George Russell pulled off the impossible and got onto the front row, and I wonder if we are going to see similar performances here today as Big Boris, first man to go out, as he quite usually is when he is racing. Big Boris very eager to get out there, to get in his laps early, although no one else, the other Aston Martin on Spazzaman now going out. People are now starting to go out, so maybe the weather not improving throughout the session. People just want to take a little bit to find out what their wet setups are like. F123 does not have the updated Spa, so it's gonna be a little bit different to the one we're gonna have in about 2 hours time of F124, and obviously 35% races for the F123 division means less laps as well. It's not going to be 22, it's going to be something else that I don't know right now. I think it's 16 or something close. That is 35% of 44. Sammy in the chat, hello mate, how are you not racing today? I would love to see you race around here in these conditions. I think you'd cook. You always cook, but like I think you'd cook even more in these conditions on around a wet Spa. So we are missing you on the grid today, as we are missing Mew as well, and Joe and Jerome are going to be the two top running guys here this weekend. Let me just check. Oh, there we go. Okay. I need to check my Discord every now and again. I have two monitors. I have one where my game is, one where I have my Streamlabs open. Then my phone is opened, so chat, and sometimes I need to look at Discord messages, so I do it through my phone. But we are going to get the first lap in. It's going to be Big Boris going for a lap on this full wet Spa Francorchamps circuit. In that Aston Martin, much better Aston Martin back in 2023 than it is now in 2024, but obviously all cars are equal, because otherwise it wouldn't make any sense to run a league, in my opinion, you know. Not fair to have some guys have an advantage and some guys not, although Codemasters seem to be doing that themselves half the time. But we are going to be looking closely at sector times now. It's going to be a 33.6 for the first sector, so time significantly slower than the dry times here. Obviously it looks very wet, but it'll be interesting to gauge how that is. Ooh, that's Mercedes. Is that Joe? Of course it's not Joe. Of course it's Stevie. I thought Joe had made a mistake there for a while, but he doesn't do those. He does not make mistakes. As Big Boris then through No Name corner down into Puan, flat in normal conditions on F124, not flat on this game, and definitely not flat in these conditions, as he downshifts 2 and brakes 2 through Puan and into then the twisty technical part of the track. You need to get this absolutely spot on, because if you miss one corner, you will miss the next 4. And it's looking quite nice, a little bit wide through there and a little bit slow, but I think that might just be the conditions. 129.5 through the middle sector, that's almost already dry times. So 2 sectors time it'll take to get dry times in. About now would be dry times as he heads to, ooh, that looked a bit wobbly through there, but definitely not flat through that corner, as it is so easily flat in the dry and really deep in the bus stop, then going left, going right, and then put the foot to the floor and across the line. This is going to be the first time we get on the board, and it's going to be a 202.4, and Get Valkyried is off the track. Oh right, we will not be switching to Get Valkyried. Who's going to be next across the line? I believe it's Spazzaman, but he has invalidated his lap, so that doesn't matter. We're going to follow along Rab Zorg then, the Alpha Tauri. Actually, no, Joe is on a lap, isn't he? Yes, Joe's on a lap. And going significantly faster, 125.1 through the middle sector. So already almost over a second up on Big Boris. And we know this man loves the wet conditions. He is the rain master. He's kind of the everything master, but he's definitely the rain master, is Joe. He absolutely finds every inch of grip in these kind of conditions. kind of deep into bus stop once again. That braking zone catching out a lot of drivers, and he's going to be the second person to set a lap time. 1:56.7, and that is 6 seconds faster than Big Boris. And Jerome Hudson goes second with a 1:58.6, but you can see the gap right now at the top. It's almost 2 seconds, and that is not a small amount at all for Joe to be leading by. I mean, that is, wow, absolutely incredible from Joe. Dablo with a 1:20.6. I would assume that is an abandoned lap. Rabzog did a 2:02, but has invalidated that one, so it's going again. Axel Ross up into P3 with a 1:59.7, so getting up there. Kiwi with a 1:215.6. That might not be a flying lap. We'll see as the session goes on, as we're following Rabzog now. Cornish Mantis 2:21.4. No one is finding the grip in these conditions. No one's finding the grip to put on a good lap time. Only the top 4 so far with actually competitive, comparable lap times, as Rabzog now going through Sector 2, heading into No Name. As you can take a lot of that curb on the inside on this game. That's been abolished for F124. You won't see drivers taking that curb, and here through Puon you'll have to be very, very careful not to invalidate on the right. Rabzog will be, because he has already invalidated one lap. He knows how detrimental that is to his qualifying right now to invalidate a lap. He needs to get this one in. That's the Alpha Taurius. He's looking to get into the top 4 then, which you can do just by setting a competitive lap time at the moment. Everyone's struggling hard in these conditions where it's absolutely pouring down rain, and it doesn't look to be getting any better. At Joe, 1:55.9 extends his advantage at the top. That is ridiculous. Ooh, wow. That's Rabzog then into bus stop chicane then. For the time being, looks good for the Alpha Taurius. Ooh, a little bit of a slide coming out there. But as he crosses the line, where can he put his Alpha Tauri? Goes 4th positive, 2:0.01. Simi then through the middle sector now, 1:28.0. That's not comparable to Joe's lap time, but no one is comparing to Joe right now. This is looking like an absolute all-timer of a pole lap if the conditions do not get better. Simi looking to put himself in the top 3, the top 4 maybe, with a good lap here in qualifying, and it is all about getting these laps in as he slows the car down in the bus stop. Again, a little bit deep. Everyone's been going deep into that corner as the Ferrari with the Ferrari helmet comes across the line. What will it be for Simi? It'll be 5th fastest, 1:2.004, so he's a little bit off Rabzog. As Spazzaman then starts his lap, and I do find it hard to believe that Joe would be on a lap at this point, so I'm not even following him. I don't think he's doing 3 push laps in a row. Spazzaman through the first sector. 33.2, that is about 4/10 up on what is... Ooh, that's Swanmouth out of the session. So Swanmouth's definitely having some issues there in Sector 2. He has got a lap time in, but that lap time is 2:08. So he might be struggling to stay in the top 10 with that lap time, as Spazzaman through No Name now needs to floor the throttle. And I don't know if he's got 0.5 laps of fuel there. I don't know. Big snap out of Puon, or 2 big snaps, 3 big snaps out of Puon, 4 big snaps. Oh, he's hit the wall. He's hit the wall. Spazzaman has an invalidated lap, so he can keep going with it, but that's not going to be a great lap time at all. Get Valkyrie hasn't set a lap time so far in this session, has the Alpha Tauri, but now through Sector 1. What is the time going to be? Like 33.2. That is about the standard through Sector 1. Joe has pitted, so I was right in him not doing another lap, and the conditions might well get better. Dablo pops himself into the top 3 with a 1:59.1. That's a great lap for the American. We currently have an American 3-2 with Jerome Hudson and Dablo. Good friends, now 2nd and 3rd on the grid in the Red Bull and the McLaren. Max Verstappen and Lando Norris of FQ, those two. Except Norris and Verstappen aren't American, but we can all believe. As Joe keeps that provisional pole position by almost 3 seconds. I mean, that is just incredible. Let's get Valkyrie now through Sector 2. Can he put his Alfa Romeo up into the top 6, top 5 maybe? With a good lap time, he might just do that. 28.6 through the middle sector. Not shabby at all. Not bad at all. I don't think it's purple, considering Joe is 3 seconds faster than anyone else. But I do believe it's a decent time. Now heading through the final few corners into the bus stop chicane. Everyone's been going deep here. As, ooh, he does go deep as well. But we'll get the car turned in nicely. And now throttle to the floor. What can he do? Where can he put that? Alfa Romeo goes 7th, fastest 2:01.1. Then we cut to Squarehead, who is making the debut here in FQ. In the Williams, so Williams all rookies today here in F123. F124 might have a different story. 26.8 through the middle sector. That's not bad, but it's not great as he's hit the wall. That's quite heavy, but he has not retired. There's no wheel off that Williams there, as Stevie's just approaching on an outlap. Hopefully this will get cleared out before we get to anything else. Bazaman looking to make another lap after that snap in Puon, and 2:02.0 he did, and he's currently 8th fastest. We'll look to go faster on this lap, as he has 7.2 laps of fuel on board, so definitely, ooh, we'll be looking to go long. It's very, very deep in the bus stop. Train hasn't invalidated it somehow. And for the floor now for Spazman, where can he put that? Aston Martin does not improve, or improves but not by enough, as does Rabzog. Sim is invalidated, and Joe is on an outlap now, still on the wet compound tires, so things are not getting better out there, and they are only getting trickier as Stevie now starts his lap. Still no lap time for Stevie then, and he'll be wanting to get up that grid. Race winner here in FQ in Division 2, back in Season 2, but as he heads through the Sector 1. I actually missed that Sector 1 time because I was looking at messages that I've been sent, and this is why I need a co-commentator. I do enjoy also being out here all by myself. I don't know what it is about it. I just like having all of the control of everything. As Cornish Mantis through the middle sector, 26.6. Again, decent time through the middle sector. We're looking for those mid 26s through that middle sector to get up into the top 5. Just needs to keep it together now through bus stop chicane, and could be on for 2:01 here. Mantis not set a proper lap time so far, as he gets himself out of the final corner, up to the line. What can the McLaren do? He can go third fastest, 1:58.4. It's a really good time for him, as someone's on a lap. I'm sure, and it was Stevie who were following along, yes. Stevie now across the final corner, across the line, goes 9th fastest, just the Mercedes. With his teammate being up on top, and he's improving by 7. No, he's not improving by 7/10 of a second. That was his last lap. But we are going to follow along Joe for this flying lap, even if he doesn't improve. I believe this is going to be a lap to follow along. 1/10 down in the first sector. Yes, Mitch, I like being messy. I suppose, although I don't make any of the racing director decisions. Otherwise I would red flag the session right now. It's too wet, clearly. As Joe heads through Sector 2 through No Name. Down in the Puon, Mercedes absolutely dominating here today. Going through Puon committing to it. 2 minutes left in the session, or 3 minutes just about, so people will get one more lap in if they leave the pits now. But they will have to leave the pits now, and Joe, I think this will be his final lap of qualifying. Setting through sector 2, setting the example, setting the times. Is he gonna set purple? Yes, he is, by 0.2 of a second. He is now up on his time, and he's looking to take pole position by 3 seconds here. No one else is gonna come even close. As it stands, Cornish Mantis, he's pitting, he's out of qualifying. Simi's in the pits, he's out of qualifying. He's just come out the pits, I believe. There's Ferrari just coming out the pits, so he might make a round, but he needs to be quite fast on his outlap. As Joe now through the final corner across the line. This is gonna be the time they're all gonna beat, and it's 59.9. Improves by under 1/10 of a second, but he does improve. Stevie, 1.4 seconds up on his current time. That could put him into the top 5 if he keeps it together on this lap. Across the line now, where can the Mercedes put himself? Can he get onto the front row with his teammate? Not quite, 6th fastest. As Cornish is out of the session, as I just mentioned. Specimen down in the middle sector. Not going to be enough for him on this go round. I think he is going to be out of qualifying here, unless he's going to go for one more push lap, which I believe he might just do. As a Dablo then, in the McLaren, going for one more lap in qualifying. This is going to be his last lap, and he's going to want to get up onto that front row or challenge for a pole position, but I don't think anyone's going to be coming close to that time that Joe has set. As Dablo through sector 1, 0.2 up on the time he has currently. He needs a lot more than that to beat his teammate, to beat his countryman Jerome Hudson, and to beat his teammate Cornish Mantis. Currently 4th fastest as it stands is Dablo, and a dog horse in some races. Hasn't had the greatest start to a season so far, Stevie. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That is not a great look for the Mercedes there. Just facing the wrong way on the racing line there as Dablo's coming through. There was one of the Mercedes. I don't know if it was Stevie or if it was Joe, but one of the two just had a pretty big moment there. But it's gonna stay full wet here as Dablo now coming through sector 2. What can he do in the second sector split? Can he be up even further on his time? Yes, he can. He's up by a second. He needs a lot more than that. Joe goes even faster somehow with a 1:55.5. I did not even realize he had a chance to get a lap in, but he did, and he goes even faster. And no one's going to be beating that time. No one's going to be challenging him for pole position here today. But it's going to be Dablo. Can he get onto the front row? That seems like the best anyone can do at the moment. Because Joe up the road by almost 3 seconds. As Dablo then comes across the line. Now what can he do? Goes second faster, 1:57.6. What about Jerome Hudson? The other American still in the title fight. Equal on points, I believe, or very equal on points with Joe. He'll need to pull out a lap, and he'll need to lead into turn 1 if he wants any chance of winning this Grand Prix, because it looks like Joe is on a different planet, especially in the wet. As Jerome then, through sector 2, 6/10 up, 6.5 up. He needs a little bit more than that through this final sector. Can he get onto the front row? Or will it be a 3rd place on the grid for Jerome? He's produced miracles before. Can he produce one again to get onto the front row? Through the bus stop chicane he comes now. It's looking quite nice for him. Didn't go as deep as people have been going through that chicane. Comes across the line now. What can he do? He goes second fast with 1:57.0. And that's a great lap. And, Axel Ross very, very slippery through the final corner. Improves, but not by enough. Sim is going to be the last one to cross the line. Through bus stop then. Very deep there. For the Ferraris, he's 9th fastest at the moment. A few tenths of improvement could put him into the top 5. What can Simi do? What can the Ferrari do? He goes 5th fastest. That's a great lap from Simi. And what a qualifying session. But the man of the hour, the man of qualifying is the pole man. 1:55.5, taking pole position by almost 1.5 seconds. Wow, oh wow, oh wow. As we settle down in qualifying for now, and that is an extremely interesting qualifying, and another session that proves why Joe is the Rain Master. Very good qualifying here from Simi as well. I believe that is his career best here in FQ. P5, and let's run you through the grid then. It's Joe on pole position, almost 1.5 seconds to Jerome Hudson, then Dablo in P3 for McLaren. In 4th, it's Cornish Mantis, so all McLaren on the 2nd row. They'll be looking to get some nice points in the Constructors' Championship. Simi in P5, Axel Ross starts P6, get Valkyried, and Stevie start alongside each other in P7, P8. Rabsog in 9th, our debutant Squarehead in 10th. Big Boris in 11th alongside his teammate Spazzaman as S10 and Swampmouth line up 13th and 14th respectively. Kiwi rounds off our grid, another debutant there for Williams. And yeah, that is it for qualifying, and now on to the race. As dry setups for Dablo, at least, as it looks to be a dry race. So it'll be interesting to see if Joe has put on a wet setup and that has helped him in qualifying, or if he's put on a dry setup and still absolutely blitzed the field. And Mew, I know it wouldn't have been as far if you were here. We are missing you on the grid, mate. All love to you, and I know how gutting it is, and I'm doing hearts right now with my fingers, but you won't see them because I do not have a face cam. I have that recording for if I need to get a commentator cam or something. But yeah, all support to you, Mew. Hopefully you're right. As we then head to the formation lap, that's quite early, I assume. Somehow I'm not surprised. As dealing with a problem we haven't dealt with for a while. But I assume we're just running with it. Joe and Jerome, both on the soft tires to start off with. Joe doing mirroring his strat from mirroring the strat from China, as he's gonna go for the soft tires. Jerome covering off his rival, going for the softs as well. Dablo and Cornish splitting the strategies, going for mediums and hards. Simi on mediums, Axel Ross going softs, then it's Valkyried and Stevie both on mediums. Rapsog, Squarehead, Big Boris and Spazzaman all on the softs, as S10 on mediums, Swampmouth on the softs, and Kiwi, the last man on the grid, on the soft or medium compound tires. Sorry, I can't even read anymore. And yeah, 15 laps. I said 16 during qualifying. And some support for Dablo in the chat there. I don't believe he stood on a podium here in FQ before, so this is definitely a chance for him to get that first podium. But his teammate behind him, there might be some some team orders for McLaren. We know they're not. We know they're not a stranger to a bit of team orders or McLaren. But I do believe Dablo and Cornish have a working relationship of, if you're faster, I'll let you go. It'll be interesting to see, because anyone else in the top 10, there's 8 teams in the top 10. There's McLaren, 2 McLarens and 2 Mercedes, and every other team apart from Haas and I believe the other team that doesn't have any people racing for them today, and I do not remember who that is. It's some team, I'm sure. As we get ready to go racing then. Here in Spa Francorchamps. Oh, you shit drop, huh? What is Jerome doing? I wasn't listening, or I wasn't paying full attention, so I just seen a Red Bull try to take out Mercedes. Maybe that's the strategy today. Joe, just take him out so he can't blitz through the field from pole position. But as we then form up on the grid. Please tell me this isn't the camera angle you're giving us. Please, game, give me a better camera angle than the one from behind. Please, I beg of you. No. No, no, no. Okay, we are gonna go on board with Dablo for the start. As we get ready then for the lights to go out. And 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's lights out, and it's go, go, go. And it looks like Joe has gotten away well. Jerome right behind him though. And into turn 1, it's going to be Joe who leads. And then the 2 McLarens side by side. It's Cornish and Dablo squabble it out. And Cornish is going to get ahead of that battle. Simi looking to get past the McLaren. As there is a bit of contact in the back. But I think everyone's gotten away fine. As there's a lot of battling going on. Through a Rouge, Spazzaman and Rabzorg somehow make that work. Spazzaman with a nice overtake there. And it's going to be a lot of people down this Camel Straight. But I think most importantly, it's going to be Jerome Hudson looking for the move down Camel Straight. As he doesn't make that one work. As Simi's up to P4, then Cornish drop down P5 through that Camel Straight. And it's S10 now, making the move on Rabzorg. Rabzorg looking to go back at him though. Through this sector 2. Oh, that's a big send from Rabzorg. That's a massive send from Rabzorg, getting his elbows out and making contact there. And in the meanwhile, that'll be settled out in the steward's room, I'm sure, as through no name then get Valkyried and Axel Ross. Surely you're not gonna go to do this, so get Valkyried backs out before going side by side in the pull-on. That is the smart move. But the top 2 now already pulling away from Dablo, and Simi in P4, 1.2 seconds behind Dablo. So Dablo's on an island now in P3 and just needs to drive the car to get it home without any further implications. But safety cars are a thing that can very much happen and have happened. As Jerome and Joe now still going through. Jerome looking to hold on to Joe here. He's doing it well so far. He's only 4/10ths back, is the American in the Red Bull. And it's Mercedes and Red Bull pulling away from the rest of the field. I believe we're back in 2021 because look at that. It's going to be Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari, McLaren. And Williams in P6. That did not happen in 2021. Oh, squeezing out. Spazzaman there is Squarehead Man. And Spazzaman gone extremely deep into turn 1 there. That might be a little bit of movement under braking from Squarehead. I don't know. I didn't see it properly. And anything I call here is not it's not conclusive proof of anything because I don't see anything properly. Jerome now 1.5 seconds behind. I believe he's made an error somewhere as Cornish Mantis looking for the move. Now on Simi on the Ferrari, and he's got that done before the braking zone. The McLaren really slippery on that Camel Straight as Spazzaman and Rabzorg going very close to each other. Rabzorg almost pushing Spazzaman through there. And this time there's not going to be a move into this right-hander by Rabzorg. He's not close enough at this time as the timings are completely glitched. As I don't believe Rabzorg is a minute behind, but now Axel Ross on S10. No, guys. Oh, this is going to be dangerous. In the corner. Oh, no. I did say it was going to be dangerous. Swamp Mouth out of the session in the wall. Axel Ross get Valkyried round then. And here are the possible race strategies. No safety car deployed from Swamp Mouth's DNF there. And that is not a smart thing to go side by side into Puron. Never was, never has been. And that is an incident you never like to see here. And no one ever likes to see 2 cars colliding as I say that. And it looks like Stevie has had an incident with, I believe that's Kiwi and the Williams. So many incidents around. But there is no one in DRS in the top 10. Or top 9 rather. Big Boris does have DRS. As Rabzorg gets past Spazzaman, and those 2 are fighting along. As DRS now gets enabled. So everyone's going along nicely. A little bit of a snap there for Rabzorg. That might leave him vulnerable to Spazzaman through a Rouge onto Rydelian. Rabzorg going defensive through a Rouge. Does not need to do that. Defending a little bit of clear air, and now Spazzaman will have the chance to get him down this straight as the Aston Martin using his ERS, using the DRS advantage into the next corner, will get it quite easily before the braking zone and into sector 2 as Big Boris as well moving up. So the Aston Martin's working in tandem to to get up the field, and everyone in the top 6 just kind of chilling. No one's within DRS of one another, and Squarehead about to enter the DRS of Simi though, as the top 6 pulling away from everyone else now. Joe 2.7 seconds up the road. Might be another Joe masterclass here, as this battle for P7 then between Spazza, Rapzog, Big Boris and S10, all 4 within DRS range of each other, so this battle will keep going for a long time then, as Rapzog now onto the back straight and might be looking for a move into bus stop chicane, as into the left-hander then. Oh, looking for it, but not quite getting that one. Wow. Into bus stop then. Goes Rabzog behind Spazzaman. Will get the DRS onto this main straight, but it's a short straight, so not gonna get a full advantage there. But then onto Rydillion, and that straight, that will be a longer straight to make the move done. Onto this straight, then the AlphaTauri a long way back, but deploying his ERS wants to get back past the Aston Martin, and look at the speed on that AlphaTauri into the braking zone. He's already ahead of the Aston Martin, as now the 2 Aston Martins back to back. It's Spazzaman and Big Boris right behind one another, as Squarehead now dropping back from Simi, but Dablo making gains on Jerome Hudson. The McLaren honing in on the Red Bull, and now within DRS range of him. Could be an interesting fight to develop this one if it does go that far, as they now head to Sector 3, into Sector 3 then. A very important exit here to keep that DRS. Dablo has got it, and Kiwi's out of the race, and there's a safety car now. And a safety car will mean that everyone will come in. There's no way anyone stays out now. It's going to be the mediums or the hards to the end of the race, no matter what you are. There's no way anyone stays out now, and it's going to be a full race reset as we head on to lap 5 of this Grand Prix. Jerome Hudson last week out got a speeding penalty in the pit lane, did not get one now. Cornish Mantis keeping going on those old hards. Simi keeps going on those mediums, so maybe a strategic misplay from those two, but you'll never know, as Joe onto the mediums, Jerome onto hards, along with Dablo and Squarehead on the softs, as is Rapzog and Spazman. I don't think the softs will go to the end. No, Rapzog's not onto the softs, is changing to the softs. And as is, yeah, everyone's going on hards. But it's gonna be Cornish Mantis from Simi, from Joe, from Jerome, from Dablo, from Squarehead, Stevie, Rapzog and Spazman. So the 2 people yet to stop in this race are gonna be, or 3 people yet to stop in this race are going to be Cornish Mantis, Simi, and Stevie Max. So they'll be looking for another safety car later on in the race, or a miracle, basically, because I don't think there's going to be a way of driving everyone out of your pit window in what 12 laps of racing we're going to get. But Joe, on those mediums, might be struggling towards the end of the race on those. And that might create an interesting race towards the end then, with the guys behind him on hards that will obviously wear a lot less. Cornish, I understand his decision of staying out on those hards. Mediums might be a bit iffy to the end. Simi, I love you, mate. I do not see the thought process of not going over the hards here. Could be just a simple error from the Ferrari driver. Jerome, Dablo, Squarehead, all of those hards will be looking to make up ground then as much as possible, and Joe needs to get past Simi and Cornish immediately, as soon as he can. He needs to get past those 2, and it's not going to be easy. Not Cornish Mantis and Simi, not going to be the easiest overtakes you'll ever make. as Get Valkyrie then onto the mediums as well. Gonna be catching up to the back of the pack on this next lap while we do go around again. The two Aston Martins in the points right now, Spazzaman and Big Boris, looking to score some good points for the team, as the two McLarens as well, 1st and 5th, looking for that team's championship. But Simi then in the end will be able to go onto the soft compound tires towards the end of the race, so maybe looking to make some moves there. I know he does have a lot of pace here, we have seen it. Qualified P5 and held that P5 quite nicely towards the start of the race. As yeah, we are going to be heading for one more lap under the safety car. I remember almost all the corner names here, except for the flat out left-hander in Sector 3. I know it has a name, and I know the name's quite iconic, but it just doesn't come to me. So I've not said it once this stream because I'm gonna get it wrong. But I know most corners. Most corners I know, so it's fine. I can use my infinite knowledge of corner names to keep you guys entertained. As we then, there's still a sector to go. If I was funny, I would pull one of the guys from the driver's voice chat up to me to give me a little bit of an update on the situation, but I don't think that would be nice, especially if it hadn't been agreed on beforehand. I'm just oh man, I'm tired. I went out last night, so I haven't gotten the best of sleep, but a few monsters should keep me going for this and for F124, which is I'm gonna be washed in F124. It's incredibly washed. It's gonna be insane. But Blanchiment, yes, thank you. Thank you very much. That's why it is good. It was there somewhere in the back of my mind, but not that I remember it. Cornish Mantis is going to be leading us away on this safety car restart. From Simi, from Joe, from Jerome, from Dablo, Squarehead, Stevie, Rabzog, Spazzaman, Big Boris, S10, Axel Ross, and Get Valkyrie still running in this race. 13 competitors still here with us, as everyone warming up the tires by weaving, which is not something you need to do on this game. Just press accelerate and brake at the same time, guys. Come on. As Cornish has gone, he's getting us underway. He's gone before the bus stop chicane to give himself the most amount of time to get away from Simi and from Joe, but Joe might just be looking for the move on the Ferrari right here, right now, and into turn 1. He's not going to be ahead, but he's going to be braver on the brakes and will get past as Simi gets left a little bit vulnerable with that move. And from Jerome Hudson now, as there's an Alpha Tower in the background that's spinning. That is Rabzog, I believe, having a little bit of a spin there. I don't know if he's been hit or anything, but Simi getting eaten up now by everyone who's pitted. But Squarehead in 6th right behind him, as Joe now looking for the move on Cornish Mantis to lead the race, and he will get it even before the braking zone, as we now see the drivers coming through. It's going to be the Mercedes in front, and it's going to be the McLaren from Jerome and Dablo who are going to be fighting now. And I wonder how much of a part is Cornish going to play in that fight. Is he going to be harsh on Jerome here with his defense and then let through Dablo easily? That is a question we will get an answer to in a little bit, as Jerome looking for a way past the McLaren on those hard compound tires. Spazzaman and Stevie going side by side behind, but Simi going really wide through Puon, just letting Squarehead pass there. And Squarehead now making the move as well. So Jerome still stuck behind. Cornish Mantis really wanting to get by, but just can't. And now through sector 3 we go, and now it's all flat out until the bus stop chicane. And now Jerome has gone past, and I wonder if Cornish is going to let his teammate pass as well here. No, There isn't gonna be any team orders on McLaren. Never mind. Yes, there is. As right as I say that, Cornish lifted and let Dablo through. So now into the bus stop chicane. It is gonna be Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren. And Joe says the fastest lap of the race because of course he does. And Simi is hanging on in P6. If he can hang on to this P6 and keep the guys behind, he could be in a really good spot here towards the end of the race, because now there's a bit of DRS drains forming from Jerome all the way down to Simi, all the way down to Spazzaman now. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops throughout this race, as now Dablo might have the opportunity to go for the move on Jerome Hudson. Not quite close enough on this occasion. No DRS yet, remember, for the McLaren, as they head through that end of Sector 1, as Squarehead dropping a little bit behind, as is Simi, as is the rest of the people who haven't pitted. Spazzaman really struggling, or not Spazzaman, sorry, Stevie really struggling here on those old mediums. And Big Boris and Axel Ross behind him go side by side. That's a great move from Axel Ross there to get past the Aston Martin. And now into Pruon, he might just look to get Stevie as well. And we've seen this before. It's a repeat of what happened on lap 2, as Squarehead is out of the race. And there's another safety car! Huh? What's going on? And somehow in all of that, I believe Axel Ross has got some damage as well. What? I don't think anyone was even near Squarehead there. I mean, it could have been, but the last I checked, there was about a second on both sides for him. So not quite sure what's happened there. But the important news is that we have got another safety car. And Joe is into the pit lane. Everyone should be into the pit lane for maybe softs at this point. As the Jerome in, Dablo in, Mantis now in, as Simi comes in as well. His gamble to stay out has worked. As Simi and Stevie in, Big Boris get Valkyried. Everyone gonna be in, and I believe it's gonna be for those brand spanking new soft tires that everyone's gonna be going on Cornish. A little bit held there by the McLaren pit crew for double stacking. He's gonna go on the mediums. He has that advantage, as Simi now has jumped Cornish because of that hold up, and some people have the option to go on those mediums, and those people are Rabzog and Cornish Mantis. So it'll be interesting to see how these softs fare up, like, compared to everything else here. Joe has 2 sets of everyone has 2 sets of softs because it was a wet qualifying. I am talking out of me arse. And everyone has now completed their mandatory stops, as we can confirm then that it was a driver error for Squarehead that took him out the race. So no collision there, which is always nice to hear, but never nice to see someone getting DNF'd from that high of a position. Simi now, the absolute star of this race so far. Oh, Stevie! Losing positions on the safety car and looking like he's spun or he's been spun. One of the two under the safety car has happened there to the Mercedes of Stevie Mac. But as I was saying, absolute star of the show so far, Simi, running in P4 at the moment, with an outside chance of a podium here. If Dablo and Jerome and Joe make some sort of error, maybe come together, Simi could be on for a podium in this race. I don't want to jinx anything. He has been known to have not the greatest luck of anyone in FQ. That one Suzuka race comes to mind immediately, where he was on for a good finish and got taken out at the last corner. Ooh, there's a bit of front wing flying off. Why is there a front wing flying off there? What's happened? No one touched anyone and there's a bit of front wing flying off. I wonder if that's from Stevie then. No one seems to have lost an end plate. Oh, there is! Spazzaman has lost an end plate. That's not ideal for the Aston Martin at all. I do not know anything about pedals, Mew, I'll be honest. I have my controller and that's it. I don't know anything about anything else. Right. Specimen then into finish. Or change his front wing. Not to finish anything. I don't know what I'm on about. I'm on Twitter. I should be focusing. And changing the front wing, getting the newest soft tires. So maybe that is a bit of an advantage for Specimen, who's had a bit of swelling going on his face recently. So hopefully he's all okay to race. So he looks to be okay to race. He's been doing alright so far, apart from that incident on the safety car there, losing a bit of his wing, but he could be on for some decent points today. Another person high up is S10 in the Haas. He had a very good debut back in Season 2, but after that hasn't quite reached the heights that he did on his debut, and now looking to get a solid P6 finish here. Could even sneak his way into the top 5 if those medium tires of Cornish Mantis really do start falling off. And Joe then behind the safety car. Still 2 more sectors to go, so I have nothing to talk about. So I guess, yeah. What is going on the safety car, man? Another Aston Martin has lost his front wing, and that's a 5-second time penalty now for Big Boris. That's really just not ideal. Really not ideal. So safety car going to be in this lap 10 out of 15, and yeah, people stay out of AI. We've talked about this, lads. Important stay out of AI, but we are going to get 5 more racing laps here around Spa, and it's going to be Joe from Jerome, from Dablo, from Simi, from Cornish, S10 Valkyrie, Rabsog, Axel Ross, Boris, who is going to be staying out, Stevie and Spazman then backing the back up, and Joe, safety car restart. $10 on it being slow, and that is what it's looking like so far. This is how we can get the lap data enabled, and we are almost getting back underway for 5 more racing laps here in Belgium. And it's going to be Mercedes from Red Bull, from McLaren, from Ferrari, the top 4, all top 4 teams in real life. Only missing Aston Martin, basically, but I don't know if they count anymore. It's just gone. He's gone now onto the bus stop chicane. He knows he has an advantage here in the low speed corners, definitely having a little bit more downforce than the rest of them. But as we get on the way, it looks to be everyone is going to be getting underway fine. Big Boris a little bit struggling through that final corner. We know that's because of the front wing damage. As Spazman looking to make the move. Sorry, on Stevie Mac and on his teammate as well, maybe. And does get a 3-second time penalty for going the corner there. And that is for multiple track limit violations. Joe already up a second up the road. And here goes Dablo then. Could he make the move on his American friend? That is Cornish Mantis getting past a Simi in the McLaren. And he's on those mediums, remember. So they're going to be at a slight grip disadvantage here early on. As Stevie and Spaz are battling it out for P10 and P11. As Stevie does get past Spazman. And ooh, very close together these two. As we get the nice helicopter cam going. And it seems to be everyone's gotten away just fine as Dablo now. Maybe looking for a move down in the Puon on his fellow American and fellow friend, but not quite doing this time around. We will have to wait another lap to see any moves, probably, because Spa has that one overtaking move between there, and that's it. But Get Valkyrie might want to do a move before that, because he's pushing the Haas of S10 through. But not quite on this occasion. He's not going to be close enough. Maybe in the bus stop then, through Blanchimont. He's going to be close enough, as might be Dablo, who is now very close to Jerome and closing in on him through Blanchimont, and this could be a move into the bus stop chain for the McLaren. going to the outside of the Red Bull as they're heading through the chicane now. Not quite doing this time around as Get Valkyrie does make the move for P6. Not quite doing for the McLaren there. As this fight for P6 now with S10 and Rabzog and Get Valkyrie, all three in that fight. Simi in P5 in a little bit of a no man's land as the two, Aston Martin, AlphaTauri and Haas going side by side. And now through Eau Rouge. No DRS, obviously, this time around. But Dablo very, very close to Jerome and could be making the move here for P2 in this race. Dablo, the McLaren, going for the move around the outside. And he has made it. He has done it into the braking zone. He's going to be up into second place in this Grand Prix. That's going to be wonderful news for McLaren. That's going to be wonderful news for Dablo. As Simi looking to get out of the second of Get Valkyrie to stay in that 5th position. And Jerome Hudson just on these safety car restarts doesn't seem to have the confidence to fire those tires up like the others do. We saw it in China where he was struggling after the safety car restart, and we're seeing it here now. He's struggling a little bit for pace after a safety car restart as S10 and Axel Ross again into Puon. Guys, not gonna work, and it hasn't worked again. S10 going around, and that's never a good sign to go side by side in Puon. And yeah, no, not the ideal thing you want to see on lap 12 out of 15. But Jerome keeping within that second of Dablo, of his countryman, as Get Valkyrie is trying to get into a second of Simi, as he has done now. He's 6 tenths behind, so Simi's P5 might be a little bit of a risk here, as the two head into the bus stop. Shane now second and third in the race, and DRS gets enabled now, so very important to stay within that 1 second of the car in front of you. Jerome in the turn 1 is over a second behind Dablo and needs to claw it back on this straight now, and hasn't clawed it back, and I think Dablo's going to be safe for this time around. But I'll tell you who's not going to be safe. It's going to be Simi, who's going to be under immense pressure through the Rydelian straight from Get Valkyrie and Rabzog. And I tell you what, Get Valkyrie might have the easiest overtake of his life right here, as he just breezes past the Ferrari and into the braking zone, easily ahead. Does it well before we ever hit the brakes there for Rydelian. S10 picks up a penalty for multiple track limit violations, as this battle for P2 is still going on. Jerome's still hanging in there, and now maybe fired the tires up a little bit better after a few laps, but still over. He's just about under a second now, as Joe is leading by 3.1 seconds. He's looking to get. He's not going to get a Grand Slam, actually, because he didn't lead every lap, so that's a shame. And Big Boris is out of race, now in Rydelian, and there is not going to be a safety car, because there's only 2 laps remaining. But Simi Midas is very, very much under pressure from Rabzog. As there's for Mercedes, I believe that's Stevie Mack off the track as well. Maybe there's been a collision between him and Spazza, we do not know. But the more pressing issue is that Rabzog right behind Simi now. For P7 through Blanchimont. Could he make the move on the inside of Blanchimont? This could be brave from the AlphaTauri, and does make the move. And Simi's got a time penalty for multiple warnings, but I believe that will be appealed to the stewards later on, because that looked very much like he was forced to go off track to avoid a collision there. Was the Ferrari, but we'll never know. And we'll keep going, but 2 more laps to go here in Belgium then, and it's looking like no one's within DRS of each other, because Spa is a great track for racing. Sim is going to look to get back past the AlphaTauri of Rabzog, but he's going to be under pressure from Axel Ross behind him. And through Rydelian now, he's going to have to be spending his ERS, and he's going to be spending his ERS, as Rabzog does not have nearly as much as the Ferrari does. Neither does Axel Ross, so Simi has managed his ERS nicely, now just needs to use it to get back past Jerome. Again, under a second from Dablo, but it doesn't look like he has enough pace to Sector 2 to keep that DRS from him. And he's looking to settle for P3 at the moment here, is the Red Bull. Cornschmant is in P4, as it stands currently, maybe closing in a little bit on Jerome Hudson, we don't know, as Simi's dropped out at the second from Rabzog, and Axel Ross very, very close to him. Hopefully this fight can keep it clean, and no one else needs to get spun around or DNF'd from this race, as Stevie's boxed for fastest lap. Then he was outside the points anyway and probably had some damage to his front wing. But Jerome now within DRS of Dablo, and he'll have exactly one chance at this. One more chance for Jerome. Dablo, lot more ERS. Cornish Mantis behind, just about over that second, as Jerome Hudson then. He's gonna have one chance at the end of Rydelian for this move. He's gonna be within DRS. He's pushing the car to its limits. You can see the Red Bull just sliding around there. And on this main straight, he's 9/10 behind. And there's one of the get Valkyrie is off the track. Okay. Sorry, I don't know what's happened there. But Jerome Hudson not within DRS of P2 at the moment. Could Cornish Mantis make it a double podium for McLaren? And could he get Jerome Hudson here on the last lap like he did in China? He got the podium in China on the last lap. Could he get the podium here in Belgium on the last lap? He's not going to be close enough at this point in time, but might look for the move later on in the lap. And this time, Simi attacking Rabzog. Around the outside goes the Ferrari. This is going to be brave. And I've completely missed it. Sim is forced to cove track. And he's going to lose a position to Axelrod in that progress. So, not the cleanest of fights there. But obviously I missed half of it, so I don't know what actually happened. Cornish Mantis, 4/10 behind Jerome now. So he's going to be looking to make that move. As Axelrod is off the track now. And Simi is going through... I don't know what's happening anymore. But Cornish Mantis then looking to get this move done for the podium position for P3 in this race for McLaren. That would be massive for their Constructors' Championship dreams. As he's got a 3-second time penalty right out of the start of Sector 3. He's got a 3-second time penalty. That's going to save Jerome Hudson any worry of him getting back past. But it's another dominant performance for Joe, for the Mercedes. He's going to take the championship lead in style, and he's going to win here in Belgium. What a race it has been for the Mercedes. It's going to be Dablo taking his maiden podium in P2 for McLaren. Jerome Hudson going to complete the podium. 2 Americans on the podium. Rabzog going to be finishing P5 here, at least on track, as Simi goes P6. But we'll have to wait and see for those stewards' results to see what actually happened there. As Bezaman finishing P7 after all of his worries. That is a very good result for him. And Axel Ross then coming through the line on at P8, get Valkyried in P9 without front wing. S10 completing the points sitters in P10. And yeah, that is a great race there for Joe, at least. A lot of moves being done there, but a lot of spins as well, a lot of unfortunate results, but you know, that's racing sometimes, and we never know what happens until the stewards decide on it. So yeah, Joe wins. The game's given the drive of the day to Rabzog. I'm going to give it to Dablo, and I think most will agree with me there in the chat. As we get to the podium, it's going to be Joe on top of the podium, and it's going to be 2 Americans standing alongside him. It's going to be Jerome Hudson, and it's going to be Dablo. We are going to be playing the winner's national anthem then, as we head to podium chat screen, which is probably this one. No, let's be right back. This is podium chat. Yes, I know my buttons after 7 rounds of streaming it. Anyway, here is the national anthem, as soon as I can find it, for Joe. There it is, the national anthem of our winner, and we are going to be moving down to the podium chat to have the podium and driver of the day interviews. So
Disconnected. User entered your
there we
channel.
go. Okay. We're gonna be starting with the P3 man today, Jerome Hudson. No, I know you're gonna be absolutely excited and chuffed to have a double American podium, but yourself, only P3 on that podium. Would you have wanted to be in second, and how did the race feel for you today?
It felt good. Qualifying was expected to be behind Joe. I wasn't expecting to be P2 though. I knew that Dablo has absolutely amazing pace here, and I knew he would be fast, but not that fast. And he really got a good launch off the restart of the last safety car, and Joe, naturally got away very quickly. And I had no DRS by the time it was the straight, and Dablo overtook me without DRS and just pulled away. I don't know where my tires went, but then I was starting to worry that I wouldn't get this podium after Cornish caught up very closely. But down the long straight, he did not get my place, which made me a little easier. And then he got the 5 or 3 second time penalty, and then I knew I had gotten the podium, and I was just very excited to get that double American podium for the first time.
Yeah. Touching a little bit on those safety car restarts, we saw you struggled with them in China, and now again struggling a little bit with them here in Belgium. Is that something is a problem, or is that just a coincidence?
Yeah, it's a problem. It's well, I didn't know it was a problem, but it clearly is, and yeah, it's something that is kind of hard to practice to be better at. And I just I think P3 was, just compared to Dablo and Joe's pace, I think P3 was the absolute best we could do today. And on Mew in the standings, I definitely closed up. I know I didn't make the pass in the standings. I think I'll be P3 now.
Wait, I don't know actually. Yeah, sure.
I think he has like
he
has like 62 points.
Yeah, no, you don't get past them. Never mind, I am very smart. Okay.
I think I have third in the standings now because Joe was like a point behind me. And yeah, I know that if Joe keeps coming to these races, that championship might just fade away from me and Mew possibly. But yeah, we're just going to keep pushing. It's been a great season, especially off the back of the last season where I was consistently no higher than 6th. Being on the podium twice this season is definitely a great start. So yeah, very happy.
Yeah, congratulations on the podium, mate, and hope to see you here next week as well as in a few hours, as we get to race the same track again in a different game. Yeah, congratulations to you. And then on to our P2 man and driver of the day. It's going to be Dablo for McLaren. That was incredible pace from you at the end there to pull away from Jerome and his DRS. How was that race for you? And you spent most of it in P3 and P4, so was it ever like in doubt that you'd get a podium, or were you confident?
I'd say, I don't know, I tried to practice quite a lot going into Spa because it's one of my better tracks, and I think I was expecting a podium already going into the race, and getting third in qualifying that really helped my chances. And then I was able to just get by Jerome in the end there. And then I remember when DRS was enabled, I remember because Jerome was like 8/10 behind me going down the pit straight. I had to get a good launch out of turn 1, and I did exactly that. I think he missed out on DRS by like 1/10 of a second or something, and that just kind of like that ebb and flow kind of happened like until like lap 13, and then I guess his tires just fell off.
Yeah. Very nice pace from yourself. it's I believe it's your maiden podium in FQ. If I'm mistaken,
Yes.
do correct me.
You're right.
That is very very nice of yourself, and it was a tricky qualifying for sure. Did you expect to be P3 in those conditions? And how did you feel when you saw Joe do a 155.5?
Well, I once I saw Joe's gap to everyone else, I was like, "There's no way I'm beating him." I tried to go for the front row, but I missed out on it by 6/10, and I don't know. I wasn't expecting it to be third because on my first lap, I almost crashed out on the corner that's going into the long straight that goes into the bus stop. So yeah, I'm pretty happy getting third, and then that just put me in a good spot for the race.
Very very nice driving from yourself today. Congrats on the podium. Congrats on the
Thank
12
you.
today, and very good points for McLaren in the constructors championship as well. And yeah, hope to see you up here next week as well. And I believe the
Yes.
highlights for this race are gonna be out faster than last week for some reason.
Yeah.
Maybe you're gonna get
Maybe.
work on those
I don't know.
immediately. You want your podium to be up there, but yeah, congratulations, and yeah, I'll hope to see you here next week as well. Then, on to our winner for a second consecutive week, and second consecutive week in such a dominant fashion. Joe, how do you do it?
Hello. That's quite good, wasn't it? That wasn't too bad.
No, not too bad. Only took pole by 1.5 seconds. I'd say you're washed.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, I'll do it by 2 next time.
Yeah, but you were really bad at Spa. That's what
Yeah.
you were telling everyone in the chat before.
I'm not good at low downforce tracks, and Spa's kind of a bit lower downforce, and I tend to struggle a bit more at them. I managed to kind of sort out half of my problems, but I was still managing a lot of annoyances, I guess,
Yeah,
throughout the race. I did enjoy the nice wet quali.
it
I
was.
do enjoy a bit of rain.
Yeah, you really do. I was saying that you were the rain master at the start of qualifying, and then you put 3 seconds on everyone's head on the first run, and I was like, yeah, he's getting pulled. Another race where you could have had a Grand Slam, but this time didn't because 2 people didn't pit on the safety car, and you did not lead every lap. So you're getting close, but not quite there. Is that something
At
you're
lea-
concerned with, or do you just
At
wanna
least
win?
it's not my fault this time. Last week I didn't commit hard enough to the fastest lap, and this week I did. I absolutely sent it
Yeah,
for that fastest lap, but apparently I did not. There's not much I could do for the pit stops. You had to kind of pit in my position on the
Yeah.
softs. You had to pit for the mediums and that. So there was not really a realm of possibility where I can get a Grand Slam there, unless there's no safety car.
yeah.
Sadly.
But still, very well done. You are now the championship leader, I believe. Heading into round 5, then halfway through the championship, leading the championship. Do you have the championship in your sights already, or?
There's a lot of races to go, and obviously I've been quite lucky this week with Mew and Sammy not being able to race. They're normally up here as well. So Jerome's been up here a lot recently, and Dablo was rapid today. So I mean, there's a lot of fast people about. A lot can change in just one race. I'm surprised, to be honest, that I'm already back leading, seeing as I missed a race, but then Mew's also missed one, so I guess
Yeah.
we're even now. So
Yes. Talking about next race, it's going to be a mystery track that will be decided on stream about 10 minutes before we go into the race. What do you want it to be? Like, if you could pick any track not on the calendar right now, which track would you most want it to be on the wheel next week?
probably Bahrain. Gotta love that Saudi oil. It's a good track for controller. A lot of traction zones.
Yeah.
Really plays into some of my strengths and a lot of, I guess, Mew's weaknesses. Or maybe not. Depends on what he struggles with. But he seemed to struggle a little bit more on traction last weekend at China. So not quite sure what Jerome and Davlo struggle with from track to track. But normally I feel like I have decent pace around Bahrain. Just can come to it and set a good lap. But hopefully I'll be adaptable and kind of just do an all right time at whatever track we come to, unless it's Jeddah, and then I will be washed.
Then you will cry.
Then I will cry.
But congratulations on another win. Another dominant performance. Very well done to you. And thank you everyone for watching this week. We'll be back in about 40 minutes for F124, where we will be doing a Spa again. But this time a little bit of different Spa. They've updated it. They say they've updated it. It's the bus stop chicane. That's different. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and stick around for the F124 division. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye bye.